Look around you. Men are chasing women like their life depends on it. Swiping, texting, trying to prove their worth, trying to convince someone to love them. And the harder they chase, the faster she runs. But the men who stand still, the ones who move with purpose, not desperation, they don't chase, they attract. This is not about playing games, this is about learning the cold, hard truth. Women don't respect men who place them above their mission. The Stoic man doesn't seek love to complete him. He becomes complete and love shows up on its own terms. This isn't romance. This is reality. This is the code of the Stoic man. The man who builds a fortress within himself so strong, no woman can shake it, and only a worthy one can enter. Stoicism teaches you one thing above all: control yourself, or be controlled. That includes your desire, your emotions, your need for her to validate you. Because the second she feels you need her, she owns the frame. And in that moment, she stops feeling attraction. She feels power. And that power turns into boredom. And that boredom turns into disrespect. This is where most men lose themselves, not in heartbreak, but in attachment, in thinking she's the prize, in thinking if they just say the right thing, give the right compliment, she'll stay. She won't, because women don't fall for words, they fall for energy. They fall for men who don't fall apart. This video is going to give you 4 brutal truths every man must master to become the kind of man who never begs, never breaks, and never bows. You want respect? It starts with restraint. You want power? It starts with presence. Support this channel if you want more men to hear this. Comment, I am the frame if you're ready to stop chasing and start leading. Truth number 1. You're not supposed to be her everything. One of the biggest mistakes men make in relationships is trying to become her entire universe. Her therapist when she's emotional, her personal cheerleader when she doubts herself, her entertainer when she's bored, her safety net when she's uncertain. But in doing so, they slowly abandon their own purpose. They trade the solid ground of their mission for the shaky terrain of emotional caretaking. And attraction quietly dies. Marcus Aurelius warned us centuries ago, do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others. It is not your job to guess what they think of you. That wisdom still hits hard today. Your role is not to orbit her moods. Your role is to lead your own life with conviction, to build something meaningful, to be the man whose presence speaks louder than words. Women don't test men to break them. They test to feel safe with a man who can't be shaken. She goes cold? You don't chase. She throws a silent tantrum? You don't beg. You move forward, with purpose, with peace. Because the moment you try to win her approval is the moment you lose your grounding. Don't become a man who clings. Be the man she respects, the man she chooses to walk beside, not the one who bends just to be chosen. Truth number 2. Silence speaks louder than chasing. A Stoic man doesn't rush to fill the uncomfortable silence. He doesn't flood her phone with frantic messages or desperately try to clarify his worth with words. He doesn't argue for space. In a conversation or a relationship where his presence is already undervalued. Instead, he chooses the path of calm detachment. He withdraws, not out of spite, but from strength. Because silence, when anchored in self-respect, becomes a signal more powerful than any speech. It doesn't scream, it resonates. It's not a manipulation tool, but a quiet thunder that declares, I do not beg to be seen. I command attention through presence. Most men collapse under pressure, drowning in over-explanations and emotional outbursts. They plead to be understood. They argue to be heard. But what does the grounded Stoic man do? He watches, he listens, he masters restraint, and when he finally speaks, every word carries weight, measured, intentional, unmoved by emotion. Want to test her respect for you? Say nothing. Let the silence stretch. Observe who leans in and who walks away. Because if your absence means nothing to her, your presence never did. She didn't love you. She loved the attention. Truth number 3. Emotional discipline is the highest form of masculine power. You think having ripped abs makes you powerful? That stacking money, flaunting status, or charming a room proves your strength? No, those are just ornaments, tools at best. But when pressure hits, when chaos knocks at your door, all of it crumbles without one thing: emotional control. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." But let's be honest, bravery isn't shouting louder, flexing harder, or clapping back at every insult. True bravery is restraint. It's feeling the surge of anger rise in your chest and choosing stillness. It's standing face to face with rejection, disrespect, or desire, and not letting your instincts dictate your reaction. Picture this. A woman tries to provoke you, testing your frame. She hurls accusations, hoping to see if you'll break, if you'll react. But you stay centered, your eyes steady, your voice calm, your energy unmoved. That is power. Not power over her, but power over yourself. Because women by nature feel deeply. They bring emotional storms not to destroy you, but to see if you can weather them. Not because they're wrong, but because they're looking for strength that doesn't flinch. Can you stand in the fire and remain unburned? That is your duty. Not to rage, not to retreat, but to hold the frame like an unshakable mountain. Truth number 4. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you lead. Too many men mistake Stoic detachment for indifference or cold-heartedness, but true detachment isn't about shutting down. It's about showing up with strength. It's loving with depth, without drowning in need. It's standing in the storm of emotion without being swept away. Imagine this. You're in a relationship. You care deeply, you listen, you hold space. But your self-worth doesn't hinge on her validation. You can enjoy her warmth without becoming addicted to it. That's real power. You love her, yes, but your identity isn't stitched into her mood swings. You offer your time, but you walk away the moment respect is replaced with contempt. You speak your truth, not to be liked, but because your voice matters. This is leadership. You set the emotional tone. You define the energy of the relationship. Because if you don't, she will. And often not from grounded logic, but from fleeting emotions. And when emotion takes the wheel without structure, chaos is the inevitable. Passenger Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." That freedom means knowing you can let go, not out of apathy, but because your sense of self is complete. Not needing her isn't the absence of love. It's the presence of discipline. And that discipline is what makes you magnetic. Conclusion. So remember this. The Stoic man does not chase, he builds. He does not explain himself to those who misunderstand him. He lets his life speak. He does not beg for love. He attracts it through presence, discipline, and mission. The moment you stop trying to be chosen and start becoming the man worth choosing, everything changes. Let them talk. Let them test. Let them walk. You remain unmoved. Not because you don't care, but because you know your worth doesn't shrink when someone else can't see it. You are not here to impress. You are here to embody.